Hi, I'm Jan Doyle. Welcome to Wyse Talk. I'm really excited about having today's guests with on the show today, Tom and Lisa Kuchara. They are the co-chairmen of NECCC. Now that's a mouthful, and they're going to explain to us what it's all about. What is NECCC?
So it's the New England Camera Club Council. It's made up of about 70 different camera clubs in the New England region. We have about 7,000 total members in it. It's open to anybody that is passionate about photography. Any photo enthusiast can go to the photography conference. It happens once a year in July up at the UMass Amherst campus. And it's just an immersion weekend. We have different programs, there's different photo opportunities, different learning opportunities, and it's just kind of like a big family reunion of photographers every year, but not so exclusive that like new people can't jump in. About 25% of our attendance every year is first-time attendees as well.
I've gone to this for many, many years, and I understand there's about 1,000 people that attend every year.
Correct.
And the wonderful thing about it is, you're right, a newcomer is brought right into the fold. Mm-hmm. There's something for there's a program for newcomers. What is that called?
Yeah, so there's a first-timer like orientation. Antoinette Gambita does it. She does a wonderful job. She pulls out the schedule, and it can be a little overwhelming because there's so many things to choose from. And she kind of gets them how to navigate what they're interested in, what programs they should see, what photo opportunities they should bring their camera to, how to know to get up early Sunday morning, because we have a big event on Sunday morning.
Wonderful event. Yeah. You see, it's so well run, it's so well organized, and you two are the co-chair this year and next year, I believe. Is that correct?
Yes.
And most of the people that attend belong to a camera club, but you don't have to belong to a camera club.
You do not have to belong to a camera club. So I would say maybe a third of the people who come are just photo enthusiasts. We have professionals that come. We have just somebody that has bought a camera and kind of started taking pictures and enjoyed it more and has heard about the conference and wants to attend the conference.
It really is exciting. It really is. And I hate to admit this on TV. However, I'm usually so tired by the mid-afternoon on Saturday, I have to take a nap before I continue on. I just go back. Don't tell anybody that. That's our secret. I just take a little nap. But it is an absolutely wonderful event. Now let's talk about the people who give the programs. I understand the photographers come from all over the country.
Yeah, so we have about 35 speakers from all over the country. Most of them, this is their first time presenting at NECCC, so there's a lot of, there's a few people that are really popular and come back, but there's a lot of big names that we're getting from different parts of the country. So they come in, they do a program. A lot of them also do a hands-on activity. This year, for the first time, we have photo walks, so we're excited that people are actually going to be walking around with their camera or their iPhone now or smartphone and taking pictures that way.
And are these guided photo walks?
Yes, guided photo walks by the speakers.
Oh, that's phenomenal. Yeah. Well, let's look a little bit of some of the work. Now, the first image that we're going to have on the monitor that comes up is just an overview, and those are all the speakers that are there. And those are the dates of it. Now, if people want to find this on the internet, what do they Google? NECCC?
Yeah, necccc.org.
Okay, and then all the information will come up. Now, the first photograph we're going to see is from Hector Astoria. What kind of photographer is he?
He's a wildlife photographer from Texas. He travels all around the world. He does a lot of photography workshops to Africa. He's gone to Honduras. He has gone to a lot of the Caribbean islands and Cuba. He speaks Spanish, and he does run a ranch. He has a manager.
For birds, yeah.
I have to tell you, that picture of his, it almost stunning because it looks like, and I know it didn't happen, but it looks like a portrait of this animal. And I know how hard it is to corral a dog to get him to do that. Yeah. But that is absolutely phenomenal. He's one of the speakers. Do you remember what his topic is?
He's got 3 different things he's presenting. One is how to take better nature pictures.
As a pre-conference, right? That's the pre-conference.
Well, no, the pre-conference is how to edit your pictures. So the pre-conference is 10-minute or less editing. So people don't necessarily want to spend a long time in back of the, in front of the computer. So he's going to, in 3 hours, do hands-on of how to quickly improve your photographs with a little bit of post-processing and easy post-processing. Then he's got a 1-hour program that he's giving twice on nature photography. And then he's got one on how to win photography contests. He's won all kinds of contests, nature photography, worldwide nature, other types of photography contests. So he's going to kind of give his little tips of what to enter and how to win some of these contests. And not only is he talented, but he's a really nice man as well. So that makes a good teacher.
It is. I already feel my nap is not going to take place on Saturday. Now, the next picture we have is by Bobby Lane. It's portraiture. Is that correct? That we're going to be? Oh,
no, we actually have two more pictures by Hector.
Oh, this is Hector again.
This is Hector again.
Oh my God! And the next picture for Hector is coming up. Oh, that's gorgeous.
Yeah, we have one more by Hector.
One more by Hector coming up on the monitor.
He does a lot of bird photography. He does a lot of like hummingbirds, and he does like the South Texas ranches. He's owner of one of the ranches, so you can actually come down there. And in Texas, water is a premium, so they put the water out there so that the birds will be attracted as a natural way of being able to photograph.
Have you ever been down to his ranch?
No, but we're planning on it. And very interestingly, one of our speakers for our camera club in New Haven had mentioned this wonderful ranch, and afterward I went up and got his information. And the next day on my list of people to call was Hector, so it was kind of like this perfect storm.
Oh, so he must be having something that. So on the next picture, we still have one more picture by Hector that's coming up, and okay, but I understand there might be a problem we don't have a picture. So we're going to go on to portraiture from Bobby Lane. Now, who is Bobby Lane?
Bobby Lane's a portrait artist from Massachusetts. She's world-renowned.
Bobby's a woman.
Yep,
Bobby's a
woman.
And she's a very energetic woman.
Very energetic. She's been to NECCC before. You know, we asked her to do a pre-conference to photograph character models to show people how. A lot of photographers, amateur photographers, are afraid to photograph people. So she has a very nice way, very engaging way, infectious way of photographing people and getting natural looks.
So here we have Bobby's work. Now, you're absolutely right. I happen to love photographing people, but a lot of people have a resistance to going up and shooting. And the image on the right is your example of a character model.
And one of the reasons we did bring characters in to the NECCC for the first year is not to compete against the regular models, but to get photographers who are not comfortable photographing people to photograph cosplay characters or people dressed up in costumes who normally naturally will pose in a way that they know how to pose. So there's less direction from the photographer that you have to give.
Yes,
that
makes a lot of sense.
It can be more engaging.
That makes sense. So. Now, in their next image, I understand we're going to have an image by Ella Carlson. Now, is this Bobby or Ella?
This is Ella's. So Ella is a professional photographer. She has won all kinds of awards through the Professional Photography Association, PPA, and she's got a wonderful imagination. So these kind of started out just as these really simple mirrored little planets, and then they've evolved into, she calls them aliens, and she has had gallery exhibitions. And
are these real people?
No, these are her imagination. This is something she has concocted, and she has warped them and masterly crafted them into these alien-looking creatures. And she just won an award for an album of all of these aliens.
Wow! I've never seen anything like this. Ever.
Her pre-conference workshop is going to be involving doing a little bit of this kind of more advanced Photoshop. So most of the other workshops and programs are geared toward beginners or intermediate, but we want something for all different levels.
Well, I hate to say this, but I've already signed up for a pre-conference on water drops, and I was really excited to do it. But I would love to be in like several of these. Okay, fine. Now, I understand the next is Photo Travel with Ira Block.
No, wait, one more by Ella.
Oh, one more by Ella.
Yep.
So
and this is the cover of Ella's book. So she just wrote a book about fine art photography.
Now this looks very traditional.
Yep.
It doesn't look like...
But it's the lighting that really makes the image. So the lighting brings out every single petal and every fold and every shadow and every highlight. And she has a wonderful book by Amherst Media, and she kind of walks through some of the examples of how she approaches things. And some of them are dead flowers. They're not all in pristine condition.
Very, very interesting. You know, when I look at these photos, it's so motivating. It's so exciting. It's like, you know, I live for photography. You actually do, and I do a couple other things, but oh my God, is that motivating. So then Ira Block is the photo traveler. Okay, and so he has, how many images do we have of his?
I think we have 2 images.
Excuse me. Oh, now this is...
Ira is a people person. It looks like that was taken out in the Middle East.
Okay, I was in Morocco recently,
Yeah.
and actually
Sure,
it could have
he
been
didn't-
taken
he
there.
didn't say, but he's a very, very wonderful man. He's a Sony shooter, mirrorless.
Sony artisan, so
Artisan.
like a professional for Sony.
He is. He's traveled the world, and he's does beautiful work.
And he's willing to share everything. Like we had come across him and he had just been to Cuba and we were on our way to Cuba and we called him up and we talked to him for quite a while. So he's very willing to share what he knows and to help other people as well.
Well, and the interesting thing is I think a lot of people, when they take photos, they think they need to take the background of the camels and whatnot. But having that gentleman in the front of it, it just gives a perspective.
It creates layers.
Layers.
When you do photography, these guys who know what they're doing look for layers in their photographs.
Oh, is that the secret? Let me write that down.
For layers.
Layers.
Not Photoshop layers.
Okay, layers.
Layers.
I might be able to do
Layers.
that. So we have another image from Ira. Wow. I wonder if he bit the dust. Wow. Now that's a phenomenal picture. Now was this a trick writer that was doing this, or was this intentional? Or not intentional?
That looks intentional, where he was planning something, or it was something out in maybe in out east. That it was a sport,
Yes,
or something
yes,
like that.
yes.
And this is the way the gentleman was hanging off.
Yes.
Maybe he had to reach low.
Now you mentioned there's a lot of hands-on at this conference. Could you go into that a little bit more? What the hands-on aspect of it is?
We're shooting digital. You're at a conference. The philosophy is to shoot. You want to shoot, you want to experience, you want to make mistakes, but you're really not. They're learning. You're learning photography, you're learning exposures, you're learning, and you're there with other people to question, and you get engaged. And when you think about it, you're smarter as a group than you are as an individual. So when you're
Absolutely.
with people, you tend to rise to the occasion.
Yes.
And you tend to experience and experiment more and take more risks than you would by yourself. And digital is a wonderful medium to be shooting, so there's no reason for us not to shoot.
Right. So
And be an adrenaline shooter.
Yeah. So the presenters are there to inspire, but then we want people to take what
Yeah.
they've been inspired and apply it right away
Yeah.
during some of these photo walks. And I think, like you said, shoot, that's important. People say, what's the number one thing I can do to improve my photography? I said, take more pictures. That's really the number one thing that we can do. So like Ira's doing a photo walk, and he's just going to kind of walk around campus and kind of talk about what he does when he is in this part of the world or a different part of the world, and just kind of lead people around and kind of get a chance to peek into his brain a little bit.
What a fabulous opportunity. And you're also right, because one reason why it's kind of tiring is you're sitting all day in the workshops or the lectures, and you're not moving that much.
Yeah.
But I think you're absolutely right. Now there's also salons or rooms that are set up for activity. How do people get hands-on, not doing a photo shoot, but they go into separate rooms, model
There's
rooms?
model rooms where there's female models that are available with various different setups, and the lighting is all taken care of. There's also small mammals, there's going to be water drops, there's going to be black light photography, so you get to go in and kind of play with something that maybe you don't normally photograph.
Or have the setup at home.
Yeah, or have the setup at home, exactly.
Yes, and so bring your tripod.
Yes, bring your
I
tripod,
just
bring your camera.
listened to your
Yep.
advice about something. It took me a little while, but I ended up buying a couple of weeks ago that head for my tripod.
Oh, good.
Oh my God, what a
Archive.
difference.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh my God, I had that other head for hundreds of years, and no wonder I hated my tripod.
Yes. Yep.
My tripod and I are developing a relationship,
Yep.
and it's a good one. It's becoming, and it gets better the more I use it. Okay, now Tom, you talked about some of the characters in the photo walks. Now, I also understand there's lens borrowing.
Yes, Lens Baby, Canon, and Nikon, and Tamron, Sigma will all loan out lenses to cameras to the to our participants, and the purpose of that is obviously it's sales. They want to sell, but to try something new and to experience it rather than just walking in the store and just turning around at the counter and taking pictures of something.
Test driving
now
a car.
you can just walk
Yes,
around
yes.
for a few hours and photograph
Yes.
and see if you like it or not.
Yes, yes. I did that a couple of years ago with a lens.
Yeah.
I thought I really wanted this expensive lens, and it was so heavy. I did all the paperwork to borrow the lens, and I went to pick up the lens. I said, I'm not taking it.
When you read the specs on a lens and it says 2 pounds, 3 pounds, we normally don't think about that.
No, you
But when you
don't.
pick it up on a camera body, you're maybe 5 pounds, 6 pounds total,
Yeah.
and you're holding that all day long. That can be daunting, but there's a price to pay, and you being a discerning photographer will look at the equipment and to get the best picture you can get.
Yes,
you know,
yes.
So you do sacrifice something.
So there's so much that
Yes.
they're doing. I think it's time to see another picture that we're going to be looking at. Now, I'm not
Ones
sure.
might be Don Komarechka's, and he is an amazing photographer for both ultraviolet light and for snowflakes.
So he's really known for his snowflakes. There's that saying that no snowflake is alike. Well, he has literally thousands and thousands.
Is this a real snowflake?
That's a real snowflakes. He lives in Canada, and he photographs snowflakes. He's actually bringing some snowflakes that are, I want to say, like petrified to the conference for people to photograph. I don't know exactly how you keep a snowflake petrified, but he does. And he did a project this year of 365 snowflakes. So he wanted to be able to kind of do like a snowflake a day kind of a thing and be able to show how different all of those are.
Oh my God. And the bleeding hearts on the right is black light?
This is ultraviolet light, so the plants actually emit this ultraviolet light, so you need a special light on your, in the front of your lens, and the colors sometimes are so different, greens and purples and bright, bright colors, and this must be what's attracting the pollinators, all of our bees and our bats and our birds to come over, and that's the only reason I can think of why you'd have this ultraviolet coloration in our flowers. He could probably tell you better.
Oh, that's beautiful. That really. Now, you were saying that he's a professional photographer.
Correct.
Wow.
From Canada.
And you said that he put on some places Facebook and he had 90,000 hits on that?
Yes, so he just recently posted one of the ultraviolet flower pictures, and he had 90,000 hits on social media for that one picture. Yes.
Wow, well, let's put his name out there and get 90,000 hits. So what does he have? Do we have another photo from him?
You might
or-
have one more. I'm not sure. Can't remember.
Okay, no, Rob just said we don't.
Okay.
So going on to the next particular photo that we brought in, do you remember who that is?
This is some of the hands-on opportunities
I
want to talk
remember
about.
him.
At the headshot.
Yes, I remember. I didn't know it at the time when I was there. I hate to tell you
He
this.
didn't give his name out that often.
I remember him. Now, describe the setup for us for a little bit. This is
a
grass.
constant light setup, so it's lights where you don't have to worry about flash and technical type of things. So you can just go in with your camera. You don't need a tripod for this. You don't have to wait in line because multiple people can be photographing him at the same time. They bring in very natural-looking backgrounds, so with none of this that he looks like he could be sitting out on your front lawn or something like that. If we had hedgehogs on our front lawns.
Now, do they? I have to ask you. Do they have? Is the fur as prickly as it looks?
It's very prickly. I actually wanted a pet hedgehog because they're nocturnal and I'm up a lot at night, so I thought it'd be a perfect pet. And they're a little hard to handle.
I'm looking at your husband. He's shaking his head. Okay, Lisa. All right, and the next image that we're going to see on here.
This is also from Photo Ops. This is one of the ones that's going to be there this year. Chris is one of the people in charge of Photo Ops, and
she's actually doing this type of glassware backlighting, blacklight setup where you get the outlines of all of the glassware in there, and you can come and make your own arrangement and learn how to do some of this. And that's something that in our New England area can be fun to do in the winter. So sometimes you get inspired there, and now you know something you can do on one of those cold weekends when you don't want to venture out of the house.
Now, interestingly, I don't think I would have thought of using clear glass. I would have thought you had to have colored glass. But that's very, very interesting. Very interesting.
Yeah.
And then I think there's one more photo op. I think
Okay,
there's
one more up there. Oh, now this is at the site of the conference is at Amherst, and this is Amherst, and this was a couple of years ago, I think.
Yeah,
Where
2016, I think, or 15.
And they brought in
the Revolutionary Guards,
yes,
you know,
yes.
from the British.
So
Tories, yeah.
every year on Sunday we have a particular photo event. Hunt's Photo sponsors us to be able to bring something in. This year we're bringing in 10 old cars, so they've all been restored, and we're going to be able to have them out on the lawn and be able to photograph these old, wonderful character cars.
Oh, how exciting is that? How exciting. The University of Massachusetts is a wonderful, wonderful venue for this. And it takes place over several of the buildings, and there's always someone there to help you and guide you and where to go. But they have this wonderful area, green area by the pond, and that's where all that takes place. I remember we've had balloons, we've had motorcycles, we've had bikers,
Yep.
motocross.
Motocross. Yeah.
What are some other people that have been there? I'm trying to remember some of the other things. There's always
Had
something going on.
horses and
Parachute.
Parachutes, yes. So this
So
year,
you also mentioned the
Fireworks, too.
helpers. So
Fireworks.
the red shirts are phenomenal. So if you're up there and you're not exactly sure where to go and you're a beginner and you're there for the first time, all the equipment people are there in red shirts. So they're there to help the speakers, they're there to set up, and they're also there to help all the participants. So if they have any questions, they know immediately they can go to somebody in a red shirt and they'll help them along.
I'm glad you mentioned that, the red shirts, but if you ask anybody,
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, anybody help.
anybody,
Yeah.
you know,
Very friendly.
except maybe me, I'll steer you in the wrong direction.
Well, we speak at a lot of conferences, and they're all good conferences, but the level of detail and attention to detail at this conference for help for speakers and help for the participants is really first class.
Now, Tom, what happens Saturday night?
Excuse me. And Saturday night is the keynote speaker, and this year is the Canon Explorer of Light, Daryl Golan. Daryl Golan is a world-renowned traveler. He's going to talk about his travels through 7 continents, and he's a wonderful photographer. He's a wonderful man. He is doing a pre-conference workshop.
I love
Excuse
the
me.
pre-conference too, because
Yep.
his Saturday night is on
Yep.
the 7 continents. His pre-conference is on his backyard.
Oh,
And 30%
yes.
of his sales, he's a professional photographer, 30% of his sales come from his backyard. And so people kind of think they have to travel far and wide in order to get a great picture. And he's there to tell people how to get great pictures without having to travel far and wide, and then complementing that.
What state does he live in? Do you know?
Washington?
I think Washington, yeah.
Think Washington.
Oh, I was just curious. You know, he doesn't live in a condo, but but that really is interesting that a lot of his sales do come from that. And Saturday night, it's really funny because I probably shouldn't tell this. Everybody has been on the go for 2 days, a day and a half, and they've had dinner and they go and they sit there. It's 8 o'clock, I think it starts, or 7 o'clock. The lights come down low.
And you want to sleep.
And everybody, half the audience is asleep. You want to stay awake, you want to see it.
But that's where we pick the best speaker for that, though. We bring in a Canon or a Nikon Explorer of Light so that they're really energetic. They can't just be an average speaker. They're kind of asked as kind of a lifetime achievement to do the Saturday night, and also because they're really energetic. We had, who was Bob, I want to say Goro, but I'm messing up his name.
Well, there was a guy from Kodak
Yes.
who used to run down the aisle, and I miss him. I can't remember his name, but it was like that's how he got on stage. He goes running down the aisle.
Yep. So there's a lot of, we want people that are energetic because we know that people might have a tendency to want to snooze a little bit.
Yeah, I know. There's an older crowd there, but it's not just an older group that goes. You have all age
We have
levels.
college students levels. We have a high school where there's scholarships given to high school students and they attend the conference. It's all different age levels.
And I know our camera club, the New Haven Camera Club, has sponsored people who have never been before so that they can enjoy it. So this is not just for advanced photographers, this is for everyone.
For everybody.
And it's also a nice place for couples and families to go. You know,
Yeah.
children of it's just a really great weekend.
The nice thing is there's no obligation to go to any of the programs. You can you can shoot all day long. There's something for everybody. You can spend a little money at the vendors if you choose to. So, you know, we want you to go see the speakers. We want you to, you know, go to photo ops, but there's no obligation.
You know what? You bring up a good point.
Yeah.
It's total choice.
Total
and you
choice.
also, the University of Massachusetts has revamped their campus center, and it's
Yeah.
like a food court.
Yes,
Yeah,
it's very,
gorgeous.
very
And it's like a
fantastic.
delicious food
Yes.
court.
Yeah.
So, I
Our-
mean,
yeah,
it's
our-
really, really good.
Our goal is to look to the future for NECCC and to get more younger people to come. So I think by doing these walkabouts and doing a lot of photography, getting younger speakers and middle-aged speakers, I think it's something that we'd like to keep working on.
Yeah, and you have to replenish. You have to replenish the group.
Yes.
We don't have that much time left, so could you, Lisa, give us the contact information for NECCC?
So it's www.necccc, New England Camera Club Council, neccc.org. So just www.neccc.org. And then once you go onto it, the main page has a link to the conference, has a page for registration. It has an 84-page PDF if you want to know about each individual speaker. It has the pre-conference workshops, the photo shoots. It's got a little bit of information that you can look about.
And while you were talking, I just remembered that, you know, I stay overnight, but if people don't want to incur the cost of a hotel, what can they do?
So there are dorms on campus.
Dorms.
There's two different sets of dorms. One is the newer dorms, the North dorms. So that's encouraging people to register early because there's only a certain number of them. They're very, very modern. They have air conditioning. They
Air
have very
conditioning is
comfortable. Or some people choose to be a little bit. The dorms aren't expensive either way, but if you want the older dorms, they're a little bit cheaper as well. And it's not a lot of money for the conference or for the dorm. So
No.
you could go there very inexpensively and learn a lot
And
with
you could
25
just go,
hours.
yeah, you could just go for a Saturday if you want.
You can just go for a one
But
day
I
as
highly
well.
recommend that you would be significantly depressed if you just go for one day.
Yes.
You really need to. How often do you have the chance to immerse yourself?
It's 25 hours of complete immersion into photography. And a lot of people, when they leave, they're just like, oh my God, like I get so many ideas. I want to quit my job or I want to go to a place and improve my photography.
What's the website again?
www.necccc.org.
Thank you, Lisa and Tom, for being on the program.
Thank you.
Very valuable information. Personally, I wish I could go tomorrow. I'm really looking forward to it. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.